My wife wants to be a surrogate for her boss, and I think it's destroying our marriage. Hey Reddit. This is my first time posting here, but I'm honestly at my wit's end and need some outside perspective. My wife Maya and I have been married for 4 years and have a 3-year-old son, Ben. We're not wealthy by any means. I run a small tech company and she's a marketing director at a fashion firm, but we've built a good life together. Or at least I thought we had. About 6 months ago, Maya started talking about feeling unfulfilled and like she wasn't reaching her potential. I get it. Being a working mom is tough and she's incredibly talented. Her boss Arthur Wells has been praising her work constantly, and honestly, she deserves the recognition. The guy runs multiple companies and Maya has been instrumental in some major campaigns. But then last month she dropped a bomb on me that I'm still processing. Maya came home from work that Tuesday with this weird energy. She was practically vibrating with excitement, but I could see something nervous in her eyes too. She barely said hello to Ben before asking if we could talk privately. "What's going on?" I asked as we sat down on the couch. "So, Arthur and his wife, Rebecca," she started, then paused, taking a deep breath. "They've been struggling with fertility issues for years, like really struggling. They've tried IVF multiple times, had miscarriages, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars." I nodded, not sure where this was going. "They're considering surrogacy now," Maya continued, her voice getting faster. "And Evan, I've been thinking, I want to help them, I want to be their surrogate." I was completely thrown off. Actually had to gather myself before trusting myself to speak, like, carry their baby. Yes. Her eyes were bright now, almost glowing. "Think about it, Evan. This couple has everything: success, love, financial security, everything except the one thing they want most, a child." I felt my stomach drop. "Maya, this is huge. You're talking about pregnancy, about helping people who desperately need help," she interrupted, leaning forward. "Pregnancy was so easy for me with Ben. We're done having kids anyway, right? This could be my way of making a real difference." The more she talked, the more uncomfortable I got. This isn't some anonymous arrangement through an agency. This is her boss. The guy she already spends 50+ hours a week thinking about. And the financial aspect. She mentioned compensation but was vague about details, saying it wasn't about the money. I asked her to slow down, told her we needed to think about this seriously. What about Ben? What about us? What about the complexity of her carrying another man's child, especially someone she works so closely with? She got defensive immediately. "This isn't about Arthur personally, it's about helping people who can't have children. About doing something beautiful and generous. I thought you'd understand that." When I tried to explain my concerns, she accused me of being selfish and not supporting her desire to do something meaningful with her life. We've been going in circles for weeks now. She's talked to her sister Sophia about it, and apparently Sophia thinks it's beautiful and that I'm being controlling. Even Maya's mom has weighed in, suggesting that I should be proud of my wife's generous spirit. But here's what's eating at me. Maya has been different lately. She talks about Arthur constantly, his vision, his success, how he sees potential in her that others don't. She started working later, volunteering for projects she never showed interest in before. Last week I found her looking at luxury real estate online just for fun, which is something she's never done. When I brought up my concerns about the professional boundary issues, she said I was being paranoid and accused me of not trusting her. But it's not about trust, it's about the fact that carrying someone's child creates a bond, and when that someone is your boss who you already seem to idealize. The worst part. Maya has talked to Arthur about this extensively. They've had multiple private conversations about the process, the timeline, even the legal arrangements. Meanwhile, I feel like I'm being asked to just go along with a decision that affects our entire family without having any say in the matter. She's not asking for my blessing anymore. Yesterday she told me she's already scheduled the first medical consultation. When I asked if this was happening, whether I agreed or not, she said, "I hope you'll come around, but I can't pass up this opportunity to help people and grow as a person." Am I wrong for feeling like my wife is making a decision that could destroy our marriage? I've been so sure this isn't something you're just supposed to accept, but I can't help starting to doubt myself when everyone around me says otherwise. Is there something I'm not seeing here? I love Maya, but I feel like I'm losing her to this fantasy of being some kind of savior for her boss. Any advice would be appreciated. I'm drowning here. Edit. A lot of people are asking about the financial arrangement. Maya mentioned $60K plus all expenses, which would definitely help us, but she insists that's not the primary motivation. The amount seems standard for surrogacy, but the whole situation feels different when it's your wife's boss. To clarify a few things, Arthur's wife Rebecca is apparently supportive of Maya being their surrogate. Maya has met with her a few times, though I haven't been included in those conversations. Thank you for all the responses. Reading through them is helping me realize I'm not crazy for feeling uncomfortable about this. Some of you are asking if I've suggested couples counseling. I brought it up and Maya said we don't need a therapist to tell her she's doing something generous. Update 1. It's been 6 weeks since my original post, and I honestly don't know how I'm still functioning. Maya actually went through with it. She's pregnant with Arthur's baby. The decision happened faster than I could process. After my post, I tried one more time to have a serious conversation with her. I suggested we take some time, maybe see a marriage counselor, talk through all the implications. Her response was that she'd already committed to Arthur and Rebecca, and backing out now would be cruel and unprofessional. Unprofessional. Yeah, she really did use that word. She had the embryo transfer 3 weeks ago. She told me the day before it happened, not asking for support, just informing me. When I asked if she wanted me there, she said Arthur and Rebecca were already planning to be present, and too many people would be awkward. I wasn't even there when my wife became pregnant with another man's child. The worst part is watching how happy she is. She's glowing in a way I haven't seen since early in our marriage. She texts constantly with Arthur about symptoms, appointments, progress. She started a pregnancy journal that she shares with him and Rebecca. Last week I found a photo on her phone. It was the 3 of them at a prenatal appointment, Maya in the middle, both Arthur and Rebecca with their hands on her still flat belly. I wasn't in that photo either. And honestly, I don't think I even wanted to be. The whole thing just feels so absurd. Maya's sister Sophia has practically moved in to support Maya through this journey. She keeps making comments about how proud she is of Maya for following her heart and doing something so meaningful. When I mentioned that this is affecting our marriage, Sophia told me I need to stop making Maya's pregnancy about myself. Maya's mom calls daily now. She's planning a baby shower for Arthur and Rebecca, with Maya as the honored guest. When I pointed out how weird this was, Maya said I was being petty and that this baby deserves to be celebrated. Our son Ben knows mommy has a baby in her tummy, but Maya has explained it as helping another family. When he asked if the baby would be his brother or sister, Maya said no, it would belong to Arthur and Rebecca. Ben seemed confused, and honestly, so am I about how to handle this with him. The financial aspect has become clearer and it's complicated. The $60K is being paid in installments, with the majority coming after delivery. Maya has used the first payment to buy a new car, a luxury SUV she said would be better for appointments and safer for the baby, which didn't even make any sense. She's also started shopping differently, buying organic everything and expensive prenatal vitamins that Arthur apparently researched and recommended. Here's what's really getting to me. Maya and I barely talk anymore unless it's about Ben or logistics. She's tired all the time, but not too tired to have hour-long phone calls with Arthur about the pregnancy. She started joining the same meal delivery service he uses, listening to podcasts he recommends. When I tried to express feeling left out of my own marriage, she said this isn't about me and that I need to be more supportive during this special time. When I asked what happens to us after the baby is born, she said we'll figure it out and that I'm borrowing trouble. But I don't think I'm borrowing anything. I think I'm losing my wife to another man's vision of their life together. The breaking point came last weekend. Maya, Arthur and Rebecca went to a couple's prenatal class together, a class designed for expectant parents. Maya came home talking about breathing techniques and birth plans, excited about things I should be part of as her husband but feel completely excluded from. That night I asked her directly, "Do you still want to be married to me?" She was quiet for a long time, then said, "I want to focus on this pregnancy right now. Everything else can wait." I don't think everything else can wait. I think while my wife is having another man's baby, our marriage is dying, and I'm the only one who seems to care. Maya's due date is still 7 months away. I don't know how I'm going to survive this, or if there will be anything left of us when it's over. Edit. A few people are asking about legal contracts. There is one, but Maya handles all communication with the lawyers, Arthur's lawyers, actually. I've asked to see it and she says it's complicated legal language and I wouldn't understand it anyway. To those suggesting I consult my own lawyer, I've been thinking about it more seriously. I never thought I'd be Googling divorce attorneys, but here we are. Update 2. 8 months since my first post, and I barely recognize my life. Maya is now 26 weeks pregnant with Arthur's baby, and I think I need to accept that my marriage is ending. The pregnancy has consumed everything. Maya spends more time at Arthur's house than ours. They converted a guest room into a pregnancy wellness space where she can rest between work meetings. She has dinner with Arthur and Rebecca 3 nights a week now to discuss the baby's development and plan for the future. Last month, Maya moved into their guest house temporarily. She said it was just for a few weeks because she was having some complications and needed to be close to her doctors, who are Arthur's doctors. That was 6 weeks ago. She comes home twice a week to see Ben and get clothes, but she's essentially living with Arthur and Rebecca now. Ben keeps asking when Mommy is coming home. I've been telling him she's helping the other family with their baby, but he's 3 and confused about why Mommy doesn't live with us anymore if she's still his mommy. Our pediatrician suggested some family counseling for kids, which I'm pursuing alone since Maya says Ben is adjusting fine. The thing that finally broke me happened 2 weeks ago. I came home from work to find Maya packing more clothes. She was wearing this flowing maternity dress I'd never seen before, expensive, the kind she never bought when she was pregnant with Ben. When I complimented it, she said Arthur picked it out because he thought it would be flattering for the pregnancy photos. What pregnancy photos? Apparently, they'd had a professional maternity shoot done that afternoon. Arthur, Rebecca, and Maya celebrating their upcoming baby. She showed me the pictures on her phone like it was the most natural thing in the world. In every shot, Maya was radiant. Arthur and Rebecca were touching her belly, and they looked like a happy family expecting their first child. I guess you guys can only imagine the face I made looking at those photos. It was hard to describe, but it's not just about the baby. It's not even about Maya talking about Arthur constantly anymore. She started dressing differently, carrying herself differently. My wife has become someone I don't recognize. 2 weeks ago, I consulted a divorce attorney. Attorney Rodriguez was frank with me about the complexities of divorce during surrogacy, especially when there's a financial arrangement involved. The good news is that Ben is clearly my son and Maya hasn't done anything that would affect custody. The bad news is that the divorce process could be complicated by the ongoing pregnancy contract. But here's what really convinced me I need to move forward. Last weekend, Maya brought Ben to Arthur's house for a family barbecue. When Ben came home, he was talking about Arthur's pool, Arthur's dogs, Arthur's big backyard. He asked me why we don't have nice things like Arthur does. That question hit me like a freaking punch to the gut. My 3-year-old son was already comparing our life to Arthur's and finding us lacking. Maya wasn't just destroying our marriage, she was actively setting Ben up to see his own father as somehow insufficient. She was systematically replacing our family unit with this fantasy where Arthur was the successful provider and I was just there. That night I asked Maya point blank, "Are you planning to come home after the baby is born?" She was quiet for a long time, then said, "I don't know." This experience has shown me what's possible when you're around people who really value what you bring to the table. What the hell? 4 years of marriage, and she was basically telling me to my face that she didn't feel valued with me. When I asked what that meant for us, for Ben, she said, maybe this is a chance for both of us to figure out what we really want. That was it. I finally snapped. The next morning, I changed the locks on our house and packed Maya's remaining clothes into suitcases. When she came by to pick up more things, I met her at the door. "You can't come in," I told her, "and you can't see Ben until we sort this out legally." Maya's face went white. "Evan, you can't keep me from my son." "Watch me," I said. "You're confusing a 3-year-old and damaging him with this fantasy life you're chasing. I won't let you use our son as a prop in whatever game you're playing." "This isn't a game," she shouted. "I'm doing something meaningful with my life. You're having another man's baby while destroying your family," I shot back. "That's not meaningful, that's selfish, and I'm done enabling it." I filed for divorce that afternoon and emergency custody of Ben. Maya could live with Victor and Rebecca all she wanted, but she wasn't dragging our son into that mess anymore. When Maya got the papers, she completely lost it. She showed up at my office, screaming about how I was trying to steal her child and ruin her life. She threatened to call the police, said I was kidnapping Ben, accused me of being abusive. "You're stressing me out during my pregnancy," she yelled in front of my entire staff. "This could hurt the baby. You're being vindictive because you can't handle that I've found something better." The irony wasn't lost on me. She was worried about stress affecting Arthur's baby, but had no problem traumatizing our actual son with her choices. Maya hired a lawyer within 48 hours, paid for by Arthur, according to my attorney. She wasn't fighting for our marriage or trying to come home. She was fighting for access to Ben. The divorce itself. She seemed almost relieved about that. Her lawyer sent threatening letters about parental alienation and demanded immediate visitation rights. Maya painted herself as the victim, conveniently leaving out the part about living with another man while carrying his baby. The temporary custody hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks out. Until then, Ben stayed with me, and Maya stayed in Arthur's guest house, playing house with someone else's family while fighting me for access to the child she'd abandoned for her boss's attention. I felt like I was finally taking control of a situation that had spiraled completely out of my hands. Maya had made her choice when she prioritized Arthur's baby over our family. Now she had to live with the consequences. Edit: yes, I'm documenting everything for the divorce proceedings. My attorney says it's important to show how the surrogacy arrangement has affected our marriage and Ben's stability. Final update. It's been 4 months since the baby was born and my life has changed completely. Maya delivered Arthur and Rebecca's baby in November, a healthy girl they named Vivienne. Maya had a relatively easy delivery, and Arthur and Rebecca were both in the room when their daughter was born. The first few weeks after the birth were surreal. Maya stayed in Arthur's guest house for recovery, but based on her social media posts, recovery looked a lot like family dinners, spa days, and shopping trips with Rebecca. She was bonding with Vivienne like she was her own child, despite the surrogacy contract clearly stating the baby would be handed over immediately after birth. That's when things got legally complicated. Maya decided she didn't want to relinquish her parental rights to Vivienne. Even though she'd signed contracts, even though Arthur and Rebecca had paid her, she claimed she'd developed a maternal bond and wanted to be part of Vivienne's life permanently. The legal battle that followed was intense and expensive. Here's what I learned during the court proceedings. Maya and Arthur had been having an affair for months before the surrogacy arrangement began. Wow, what a shocker, who could have guessed? The pregnancy wasn't just about helping a couple have a baby. It was about Maya having Arthur's child while staying legally protected by the surrogacy contract. Rebecca found out about the affair during the custody battle. Apparently, she'd suspected something but trusted Arthur when he said the surrogacy was purely business. Text messages recovered during discovery showed months of romantic communication between Maya and Arthur, including plans for them to be together after the baby brings us what we've been missing. The whole thing imploded spectacularly. Rebecca filed for divorce from Arthur and relinquished any claim to Vivienne. At first, I thought this would be good news for Maya and Arthur. They could finally be together with their daughter like they'd planned. But that's when I finally learned the truth about their relationship. And it seemed, so did Maya. Arthur never intended to leave Rebecca for Maya. Their affair was about Arthur wanting a child with Maya specifically, someone young, fertile, and devoted to him, while maintaining his marriage and social status. When Rebecca discovered the affair and filed for divorce, Arthur panicked about his reputation and business relationships. He immediately tried to distance himself from Maya. He claimed in court that the affair was entirely her idea and manipulation. Maya was devastated. She'd believed Arthur loved her and wanted a future together. She'd sacrificed her marriage and family for him, only to discover she was just a convenient way for him to have a child without the messiness of divorce. When Arthur's lawyers started painting her as a gold-digging homewrecker who'd manipulated a vulnerable married man, Maya realized she'd been played. That's when their legal battle turned vicious. Arthur fought Maya for sole custody of Vivienne, claiming she defrauded him by pretending the surrogacy was altruistic when she was really just trying to baby-trap him. He argued that as a single mother with no stable income or housing, she was unfit to raise his daughter. Maya fought back by exposing all of Arthur's lies, the months of romantic promises, his plans to eventually be with her, his encouragement of her to leave me. She demanded primary custody as the biological mother and claimed Arthur had emotionally manipulated her throughout the entire process. The whole thing became a he-said-she-said battle where both of them were trying to destroy each other. Arthur painted Maya as a manipulative seductress. Maya painted Arthur as a predatory boss who abused his power. Meanwhile, neither of them seemed to be thinking about what was best for Vivienne. While they battled over Vivienne, I focused on protecting Ben with Maya's life in chaos and her priorities clearly elsewhere. I filed for emergency full custody of our son. Given that Maya was essentially homeless, Arthur kicked her out when Rebecca discovered the affair, and unemployed, the fashion company fired her for the scandal. The judge granted my request. The custody battle for Vivienne lasted 3 months. In the end, Arthur won primary custody, but Maya was granted significant visitation rights and child support. She essentially lost custody to both her children, living in a small apartment funded by Arthur's child support payments. The financial settlement from my divorce was straightforward since Maya had already essentially moved out and established her own life. I kept the house, most of our shared assets, and full custody. Maya kept the money she'd earned from the surrogacy, which helped her establish her new life as a single mother. The irony is that she ended up with neither Arthur nor the fantasy life she was chasing. She's a single mother working part-time at a small marketing firm, living in a modest apartment, and sharing custody of a daughter with a man who now sees her as a problem to manage rather than a woman to cherish. Meanwhile, Ben and I have built a quiet, stable life together. We have movie nights on Fridays, pancakes on Saturday mornings, and a bedtime routine that doesn't involve mommy being somewhere else. It's not the life I planned, but it's peaceful. Ben starts kindergarten in the fall. I'm considering moving us to a different school district, somewhere we can have a completely fresh start. Maya will still have her visitation rights, but Ben and I deserve a chance to build our future without being defined by the chaos of the past year. Life is good now. Different than I planned, but good. Thanks to everyone who supported me through this insane journey. I'm logging off this account and moving forward with my life.